person that wants your own freedom and you're really excited to go and create that life of your dreams, then man, is this going to be the talk for you. Because my purpose with this talk is not to necessarily share something new with you, but to rather move you to go after your own dreams, and maybe even if you have given up on them before. And my purpose here with this talk is to make sure that you, when you're here live in the audience, or when you're watching this on the replay, to really walk away with hope, with courage, with the power to go after that one thing, whether you already want it or not, or to be able to actually start creating it for yourself. And maybe it's something that you want for yourself. Maybe you want to create a better life, more abundance, more health, more love in your life. Or maybe you want to do this for somebody else, someone that you really care about, and someone that really needs it the most right now. And by sending this video, you will finally be able to get through to them. And I know that this is a big, bold statement today, but I love to make change. I like to give people hope, and so I will do my absolute best to make sure that I can empower you today, so that today too, you will start doing something that will bring you closer to your dreams. And so the way how I'm going to do this in this talk is actually by specifically going into the topic of wealth creation. But if you have different goals, then you can obviously replace what I'm sharing by things that you want to create for yourself. And I do this because I really believe that everyone has the right to be free. And maybe right now you're thinking, I am free. I don't see any chains on my hand and I can make my own decisions. But if so, answer this question for me. Where would you, it was all up to you, like to see yourself in 5 years' time? Where would you be? Who would be there with you? What would you be doing? How does that make you feel? And when you do this, don't really be realistic or anything. Really come from your dreams. And picture that world as if you open your eyes and it was the creation of what you want. Now, does that world look different than your reality today? And what are you going to do about it? And more importantly, what have you been doing about it so far? Have you done anything at all or nothing for a long time? And so the problem that a lot of people face, they think that their dreams are way out of their reach. They think it's better to just wait around and play it safe. And they don't make any active steps to go and create that freedom. And that's why today I want to share with you guys that you absolutely have the power to create that life of your dreams and maybe even become a millionaire. And that's why the title of my talk is Why and How Anyone Can Become a Millionaire. And I know that sounds totally crazy, right? And when I made my first million, I feel really crazy about it too. And I just want you guys to know that you can absolutely do this, because I come from Amsterdam and I was part of a family that is the most beautiful family who's here with me today as well. And my parents always instilled so much hope and love and power and confidence in me and my siblings. And they actually instilled something in us that created from a very early age my mission. And that's the mission to be free and to empower other people to be free as well, whether that's physically, whether that's mentally, spiritually, or financially. And so I really want you guys to understand that you can do this too. And I was put through the most amazing education. I had 2 bachelors in physics and astronomy, then I did a master's in astronomy, then I went for a PhD in astrophysics, and I only had 5 more months before I was going to become a doctor in astrophysics. And that's when I decided to throw it away. And I don't know if you've ever felt this way, that you're doing something, you're doing your job, and it pays for the bills, but it doesn't really fulfill you. This is not your purpose. Has anybody ever had something like that before? And so that's how I felt. And I felt like I was destined for something so much bigger, so much more. And I also found myself going on YouTube and finding out videos about how I could start my own business. And then, as if it was magic, an ad got targeted on me, and there was a business event that I could go to. And this event was just next to my house, so I went there, and this is where I met my first mentor, Master Tjibaria Pijloo. And this is actually the first tip that I want to give you guys. And if you're making notes, definitely write this down. And it is, find yourself a mentor. And Tjibaria actually has an entire TED Talk about this topic, and why it is so important to not just reinvent the wheel, but to go and learn from someone who's got the results that you seek. And this thing was actually happening for me as well. I had the opportunity to learn from a business mentor, and this program had a price tag of $7,000. And that was the moment where the little voice appeared. I'm so happy to be here with you guys on the backstage. And so we all have this little voice. It's basically the voice that we have in our heads that tries to protect us by saying things like, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I'm not sure if I'm good enough. What if I fail? I'll do it later. And we all have a little voice like this. Maybe yours is not as high pitched as mine, but we definitely all have it. And for those of you who are thinking, I don't have a little voice, That's the little voice. The thing is that this was exactly what my business mentor shared with me. And it opened up my eyes. It opened up my eyes to see that this little voice is perfect to keep us safe, but it's not optimized to get us to success. And it's actually this little voice of ourselves that we talk ourselves out of taking the steps that are necessary to reach success. We are, in fact, the ones that stop us from reaching the goals that we want. And this is where I got to point number 2. Make sure to write this down. Success is a decision. You have to decide that you are going to be successful. And 8 years ago, when I had this opportunity, I had decided. But I went against all odds because I didn't have the money for a 7K mentorship. I didn't have the time because I was doing my PhD, and I considered doing it later. But I don't know if you've ever had it that you come across an opportunity and it feels like it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and if you don't do it now, then when's it ever going to come back around? And so I felt that way too. So I actually made it happen. About the money, I actually found the money. I went to my parents and I asked, could I borrow some money? I went to the bank and I topped up my already existing study loan. And with regards to the time, I quit my PhD. And then basically, I actually took it one step further. And I moved to the UK to work in the company of my mentor. And this was really scary. And I was really feeling like, oh my goodness, what am I doing here? But for some reason, I felt in my heart it was going to be okay. I had that trust. And so this is tip number 3. Replace your worry with trust and take action with conviction. Because it's really important that you believe in it too. You have to take an action with conviction, and then it opens up doors. And it might feel scary. And what I really want you guys to realize is that we're living this life not just to get by, but to actually live. And there was actually a video by Prince EA that got viral where he said that there was a hospital study done with old people, and they asked them, what are the things that you regret the most? And it was not the things that they did do, but the things that they didn't do that they regret the most. So I felt like I want to take that action. I want to take that action with conviction. And so within the 3 weeks that I went to the UK, I became the CEO of my mentor's company. I closed $70,000 that normally would take me 3 years to be able to do that. And the cool thing was is that we made that money by being able to help people. So let me ask you guys a question. How many of you like to help people? Raise your hands. Raise it nice and high. It's beautiful. And so I want you guys to repeat after me. Say this. If I can help people, I can make money.
I can help people, I can make money.
Beautiful. But before we do that, I really want you to get tip number 4, which is you need to write down a concrete goal for yourself. And that's what I did too. When I started out, I wanted to make $1 million in 1 year. I didn't get there though. It took me 18 months to get there. Fast forward to now, I feel so blessed, so happy that we get to help people from all around the world, and we, with our company, have made multiple millions, and we're traveling around the world, and we're now on track of creating a $1 billion empire. And I'm not saying this to you guys to impress you, so that you think, oh, look how cool I am. Not at all. I want to share with you guys so that if I can do it, someone with no formal business education, then you can do it too. And this is super important to understand, but what is that thing that actually stops us? Why do we sometimes have this fear that it just paralyzes us? How many of you ever have it? If you want to do something, but fear stops you? Anybody at all? Anything in your life? I certainly have as well. So why is this? Because when we were children, we were so happy, we were so courageous, we were so unconditionally loving ourselves. To now, what do? We just worry all the time. And I don't know if you've ever heard this saying where they say that the majority of things that you worry about never even happens. And maybe you guys have had it too, that you wanted to approach the love of your life. You were thinking about all the things that could go wrong, and you were just waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally, when you approached that person, it wasn't actually that bad. How many of you can understand what I'm talking about? And then all these doom scenarios that we make up in our minds are just a waste of time. So I want to ask you guys, who here is ready to finally break free? Who is ready to actually go and reignite your dreams? Raise your hands and raise it nice and high, by the way, because how you do anything is how you do everything. And so there's one more myth that I need to take out of your mind so that you can really start doing this effectively. And that is that, tip number 5. The failure that you know doesn't exist. Because for some strange reason, we always, from an early age on, are very good at conditioning ourselves that failing is bad. Like we get an F at school and we feel so bad about it. But if you want to reach success, you actually need failure. And you actually need to collect as many F's as possible. And what you will realize is that fear of the failure is actually not what you think it is. It is just testing. It is just you getting those stepping stones. And you want to get as many of them possible out there. Because then you actually form the staircase to your success. So what's that thing? What's that thing that is stopping us? And this thing that I really want to ask you is, what are you waiting for? Or better yet, what have you been waiting for all these years? And I don't mean to be harsh, but I just want you to understand what we are doing to ourselves. And I want you to understand that we have the power to break free. And this actually reminds me of the story of a little elephant that was once at a circus, and there was a little elephant, and it was running around, it was so excited, but they couldn't have that, because you had the guests who were coming, and they just really had to confine him. So what they did is they put a little rope around his paw, and they put it inside the ground, and it tried to break free, but it couldn't break free because it was just a little elephant. So it tried for days, it tried for weeks, but at some point it just stopped, because it was feeling like it's not going to work anyways. And so at that moment, it grew up to be a big, strong elephant. And it was still confined by the same rope. And we all know that a big, strong elephant can easily break that. But it didn't do it anymore. Somehow in his mind, he has thought that it's going to fail anyways. And this is exactly the thing that we do to ourselves. Maybe you've had it in your life that you've gone through something that hurt you. Or maybe you've tried different things and you failed. Or maybe people have said to you that you're not good enough. Well, let me tell you one thing. You are absolutely good enough, and there's nothing that you cannot do to create the life of your dreams. So I want to ask you guys, once again, who here is ready to go and create the life of your dreams, and perhaps even become a millionaire? And if that is you, I want you to join me in a big hoo, ha, hoo. Everybody with me? Hoo, ha, hoo. One more time. Hoo, ha, hoo. Beautiful. So not only do you get the steps on how to do it. And by the way, these steps work for all industries. They work for all types of people, and they basically are 5 of them. So the first thing is D, then we have S, then we have P, and then we have C, and then we have the A. And so basically the first one is you have to decide. Decide that you are a millionaire. Decide and put a concrete goal in place for yourself. Just like me, I said I want to make 1 million in 1 year, and where you get there exactly at that time doesn't even matter. What matters is that you believe that you're going to get there, that you take that action with conviction. And so you might be thinking, all right, I'm going to take action with conviction, but where do I even start? And that takes you where you, once you start figuring this out, by means of the step. So what I want you guys to write down is basically these letters. And I want you to write down what are all your skill sets. What are all the things that you have knowledge about? Maybe knowledge from school, maybe knowledge from the work, maybe knowledge from the streets, right? What are all the things that you have experienced? Write it all down. Don't be modest with this. Maybe at one point in your life you want to be more fit because you weren't very fit and it was not good for your health. And so you did something about it. How many people do you think are out there right now that are not feeling fit and they would love to know what you did, right? So write all these things down. Then, what are you passionate about? Maybe you're passionate about singing. Maybe you're passionate about food, about cooking. Write it all down as well. And then last but not least, write down all the different things that you are talented in. And then you may have tens of things or hundreds of things even. I want you to shortlist it to only 5 things. And how do you do that? You basically go through every single step element and you ask yourself this question. Can I help a lot of people with this or not? And so you're going to find out that the 5 things that are left over are those things that you can help a lot of people with. And so then, what do? Then you want to be with the people. Go out there and empower people about these 5 steps, these 5 different topics that you have left over. Go and add value, whether that's in person or whether that's on social media. Make a little tip about it, make a video about it, share that value. Because people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And so you want to make sure that people get to know you and get that value across to people. But you might be thinking, well, there are so many other people already that know way more than me about all this stuff. They are much, much better. But if you've ever watched a TED Talk from Simon Sinek, you know that people don't buy from you because you are the best. People buy from you because they believe in what you believe in. So the moral of the story is just be yourself. Be authentic. Share with people what you believe in. And then start listening. As you're adding value on social media consistently on these 5 topics, start seeing which of these topics are getting the most traction, which of the topics are most interesting to people. And then that's the one that you choose to work with. On that one topic that you have left over, you are going to create your business. You have 3 options there. You can either create a program. So let's say if you have the option of cooking that is left over for you, then it could be that you create a program about cooking, and you teach people how to cook yummy food while still being very healthy. Or you can create products. You can maybe create a recipe book that you go and sell to people. Or, step number 3, you can create a service. You can actually have a cooking service that you deliver to people, for instance. So you either have a program, a product, or a service. And then what you want to do is get good in effective communication. Start speaking to people, start adding that value, and get good at the art of sales. Because repeat after me, selling is serving.
Selling is serving.
Thank you. And so this is something really important to realize. And then once you start doing that, you start getting your first clients. And then, once you are seeing this proof of concept, then you want to automate it. Then you want to make sure that it's actually happening on autopilot. Because just think about it. Imagine that you have something, a system out there that can add value to people for you and actually bring you sales. Whilst you're here listening to a TED Talk, how amazing would that be? And repeat after me. Automation equals freedom.
Automation equals freedom.
Thank you guys so much. And so, what I basically want to say is go for it. Implement this model today. Take your first step today. It doesn't matter how small or big the step is. Just grab your phone, make your first post today. And what's really important for you to realize is that you just want to go to bed a little bit more smarter than that you woke up that day. Which is what Charlie Munger, the self-billionaire, says. Because when you do so, inevitably you're going to reach that success. But you might be wondering, what about the risk? Truth of the matter is that everything has risk. Action has risk, inaction has risk. But the risk in inaction is a lot more dangerous because you don't notice it until it's too late. So be bold, be courageous, be crazy. Because like Steve Jobs says, it is those people that are crazy enough to think that they can change the world that usually do. Thank you.